So another day, another just weird situation, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around the organization. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans. I'm like,
are the Fever actually thinking about trading Caitlin Clark? Sounds wild, but the internet's buzzing, and the vibes are getting stranger than a halftime mascot race. Did she score too much? Smile too big? Sell too many jerseys? Something's off, and it's not the pregame meal. Stick around. We're about to break down the chaos, connect the dots, and maybe uncover the dumbest front office decision in recent sports history. Grab your popcorn. This one's going to be hotter than a Clark Logo 3.
Another good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark, man. So looks like the Fever been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoff. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the regular.
Let's be real. If the Fever moved Caitlin Clark, they might as well hand every fan a "we quit" sign with their ticket. Think Indiana traffic is bad now? Wait until you see thousands of fans sprint toward whatever team lands number 22. She's the most marketable, most talked about, most Googled athlete in women's sports. And they'd swap her for what? A stack of worn-out warm-up towels and a second-round pick?
he literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned that, the fans coming on saying fire.
The Fever's arena would go from packed to echoing faster than you can say, worst trade in sports history. Right now, Clark isn't just part of the show. She is the show. She's selling out arenas and whole cities. Every time she takes the floor, concession stands get cleaned out, merch tables look like a Black Friday stampede, and suddenly every grandma in America owns a number 22 jersey. Toss that away. That's throwing out gold for scrap metal.
The reason why I was a little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah, she's a great basketball player. So
the math just isn't adding up. You don't trade the one person who turned your team from background noise to primetime drama. Before Clark, most WNBA fans couldn't have picked the Fever logo out of a Police lineup. Now, they're the Beyoncé of the league, front and center, trending everywhere. That's not strategy. That's Caitlin.
A badass and a trash talker, and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard, all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
If they actually went through with it, they'd be ending their own run at relevance. Clark isn't just an athlete. She's a one-woman media machine. Cameras chase her like she owes them money. Every shot she takes ends up on multiple sports shows, podcasts, and a dozen TikToks. Trade her, and the spotlight disappears, gone like playoff hopes in mid-June. And whatever team gets her. Instant America's team. Even if it's a small-town squad with more cows than people. Meanwhile, the Fever would be left hyping up a rebuild to a half-empty arena, pretending fans came for the defense. That's like saying people go to Disneyland for the churros. Clark is Mickey Mouse.
Indiana Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give like the official what is going on with Caitlin's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no...
This isn't a casual fan base. It's a full-on movement. These people travel, post, and binge WNBA League Pass like it's Netflix. You think they'll stick around if Clark's dropping logo threes in another city? Not a chance. There's this fantasy that the team will still be competitive and the fans will still show up. Respectfully, good luck. Unless you replace her with a lab-made super player who can do it all, you're getting nothing but tumbleweeds and regrets. Trading her wouldn't just be bad basketball. It'd be financial malpractice. That's like Apple firing Tim Cook and hiring a Roomba.
She didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking like, damn, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You play the regular season to get to the playoffs. Clark has missed, most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, a win is a win, whatever?
And please don't push the maybe it's best for both sides storyline. Best for who? The accountants? The merch guys suddenly printing team effort shirts because nothing else is selling? The PR intern rewriting tweets at 2 a.m. to explain why the crowd's gone? This isn't addition by subtraction. It's subtraction by pure delusion. Trade her, and all you're adding is chaos, hot takes, and think pieces about where it all went wrong.
Fair that she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
At the end of the day, you don't trade the sun and expect the planets to keep orbiting. Clark leaves and the whole galaxy shifts, and Indiana could be the one left in the cold. This isn't about the Fever's logo or colors or some deep-rooted love for the name Indiana. Fans would follow her to the league's worst team before they'd commit to a Clark-less Fever. They're not watching a rebuild. They're tuned into the Clark cinematic universe.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because...
This isn't some casual admiration. It's ride or die devotion. Clark makes basketball look like magic. She'll drop 30 like it's nothing, stare down a defender like she's writing a diss track, and walk away like it's just another Tuesday. Give her a team of scarecrows, and she'd still sell out the building. She didn't just move the needle. She broke it clean off. Her fan base is bigger than some franchise's entire existence.
That I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy, but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing.
Picture trying to sell fans on the Fever after trading the reason they even know the team exists. It's like kicking the main act off a concert tour and hoping people show up for the yodeling opener. These people know Clark's stats better than their own phone numbers. They rewatch her games, argue online, and lose their minds over a single cross-court pass. Take her away, and all that's left is an empty arena and a mosquito buzzing in section.
People say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be an Indy at WNBA All.
This is the part where it goes from comedy to cautionary tale. The Fever aren't holding just any player. They've got the key to a nationwide movement. Clark could join a team that's been bottom of the standings for years, and overnight they'd be must-watch TV. She'd change the culture, boost revenue, and make defenders look like interns. And you think a couple of pick and rolls can replace that? That's not optimism. That's denial with extra seasoning. Even Clark herself has pointed out the transformation, without being petty, when she mentioned at the All-Star game how Kelsey Mitchell played through the dark days of a single lonely concession stand. Now, the Fever pull nearly 17,000 a game. That's not a small bump. That's an explosion. TV ratings are soaring, merch is gone in minutes, and sponsors are lining up just to get a slice. Trade her, and you're not just making a bad call. You're writing the first chapter in How to Ruin Everything, a sports business masterclass.